Assalamu alaikum. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbana hab lana min azwajina wa dhurriyyatina qurrata a'yunin waj'alna lil muttaqina imama. ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم وصلى اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Welcome, dear friends. Inshallah, we will continue from our discussion from the 25th word of the book, The Words, which is about the miraculousness of the Qur'an. And we went over a few definitions of what the Quran is and how we should be engaging and reading the Quran and apply it to our living, inshallah. And the last thing we kind of touched upon was how this particular verse in section 2, verse 23, and if you are in doubt about what we have revealed to our servant, then produce a surah resembling it. So it challenges the human being, and we saw that we related it to how in the universe also, the existence that we see, nobody can create anything in the universe, and how also the message in the Quran also, the way it speaks, the eloquence that it deals with, shows that is somebody who owns the universe, who knows my existence, who knows about me. So they are very, very tied to each other. We kind of linked how the universe and the message of the Quran, how they are bound together. So in the same way, the way the Arab culture, as the author was sharing, was an oratory culture. There was nothing written at that time. So anybody who was a good orator kind of took the highlight and the spotlight during that time, right? So the Quran had to come up with an eloquence that would, of course, nothing in comparison to what the Quranic messages challenges it, but to pinpoint and to highlight and show that, hey, everyone, pay attention to this. This is not like the poetry that you've been listening to during that time, or any, in our days, like any book that we can pick upon. The Quran is nothing like that particular book because it deals with our human existential matters, our questions that we are, deals with what our purpose in life is. None of these books that we pick up, even the self-help books, could actually answer what the Quran kind of gives us the news that what we are looking for in terms of what is our purpose in life. We are looking for happiness that or satisfaction that stays with us. So you can read physics, math, psychology, but none of these books actually address the real human fundamental concerns and questions that we are looking for, the guidance that we human beings need. That tells us that, yeah, your life here is for a purpose, and whatever your feelings are telling you, whatever the universe is telling you, universe is telling me everything is transient, but there's a sustainer to it. Whatever the prophets came and told you, so the Quran answers those kind of questions. So in a way, in the terms of the oral way of speaking, so it says either dispute me or you and your property shall perish. So it has to speak with that language, with that eloquence, in a way. So that kind of highlights and brings me into attention. That's why for example, we're studying section Al-Furqan, and there we're seeing how everything is clearly mentioned. Basically, it has to be presented in extremes so that human beings it is clear to them. So clarity is very important to make the message clear. So if it leaves something in between, then the book or the message cannot be taken seriously. So it has to be clarified by giving extreme examples. Right? So it was saying compelling reasons, Quran being imitated, so disputed. So it's challenging in a way to the human being, or even the imitation part, right, does not resemble, none of them has been able to imitate what the Quran says. So we kind of discussed this, that yes, the eloquence of the Quran that deals with human questions, existential matters, none of the books that we encounter can come even close to what the content of the message of the Quran is. And of course, as a follow-up to this discussion, the author kind of presents a question for us also to think about, just to make the case, the subject a little clearer for us. Right? So if you say, how do you know that no one has tried to dispute the Quran? Yeah, how do you know that nobody tried to so far, many years since the actual revelation of the Quran, 14, 50, 100 years ago before, have passed, and that no one has had sufficient confidence to challenge the Quran, and that no one's help for anyone else was of any avail. So no one has sufficient confidence to challenge it, and no one's help for anyone else was of any avail. This one kind of I was unclear about. So no, how does challenging the Quran and no one's help for anyone else? So anything that the Quran kind of mentions, that the way it speaks, that someone is in charge, is the Lord of the universe. So see that if anything else in this world can help you. That's what I took out from this. No one's help for anyone else was of any avail. So if you think, okay, this is helping me, someone else is helping me, but is it really that someone, or that one was created, employed, arranged to help you? So the challenge as the Quran presents, so this is a follow-up to that challenge in terms of how, if you can challenge the message of the Quran, so why don't you present it or show it? And that's why we see in the historical narratives, so in the presentations as well of some verses of the Quran, where instead of challenging the message itself, they started attacking the people personally, or the prophets themselves. That who are you who walks in the marketplace, that you just eat and drink like us? You don't have any angels next to you. So they start going personal into the prophetic life rather than challenging the message. So, all right. So any additions before we go into the answer? So I will ask Fariha if you can read slowly, please, the answer, so that we can see how the author is kind of presenting it. Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim.
The answer: if it had been possible to dispute it, most certainly it would have been attempted. If it had been possible to dispute the Quran, most certainly it would have been attempted. For it was a question of honor and pride, and life and property were at risk. For if it was a question of honor and pride, and life and property were at risk. If it had been possible to dispute the message of the Quran, most certainly it would have been attempted, for it was a question of honor and pride, and life and property were at risk. If it had been attempted, numerous people would have supported such an attempt. If it had been attempted, numerous people would have supported such an attempt. For those who obstinately oppose the truth have always been many. For those who obstinately oppose the truth have always been many. And if many people had supported, even if many people have supported this truth, and if many people had supported it, they surely would have found fame. And if many people had supported the dispute, I would say, I'm not sure what the it
I would
is.
say the challenge, yeah, to dispute, correct.
Okay. And if many people had supported the challenge to dispute the Quran, then they surely would have found fame. For insignificant contests even attracted the wonder of people and found fame in stories and tales. For insignificant contests even attracted the wonder of people and found fame in story and tales. So an extraordinary contest, and even such as that, would never have remained secret. Not sure what the contest mean here.
So the challenge, so in a way, the author is presenting that, okay, if the possibility, okay, if somebody was disputing the Quran, certainly they would have become famous, what the Quran is saying, because it would be a matter of honor and pride. So why do these, for example, these games happen, or who wins and who loses, or this contest of elections to show their superiority? So they go down in history. Basically, they are spoken about, and then they get honor and pride. Or if somebody discovers something very meaningful, unique, then of course somebody would speak about it, and they would get that honor that yes, they discovered it. So in the same way, if anybody kind of is tried or attempted, it would have been known. But nowadays, nobody really pays attention to the message, and then they just try to keep you busy in many other things. So even it's saying that even in insignificant contests, like whatever is happening in this world, little things and big deals are made out of it, which when the people like Hollywood stars, they don't really, what kind of fame is that? It's just acting, right? So, or any author of books, like what significant books are there that we could say, oh yeah, this was one of an amazing kind of book. So an extraordinary contest, and even such as that would never have remained secret. So it says it would have been out there in the open if anything was available. Right? So it's still open till the end of time. So till everybody's life here is everybody can just examine the verses and the message, look at the universe, see how the existence of things, that how it's corresponding perfectly, all the qualities that we see in the things in the universe. And that's what the Quran guides you. Who is bringing all those qualities? Do you see matter as owning any of those qualities that you're observing in the universe? So nobody can really challenge that message, right? So there's an example basically of some historical figure, maybe then if you want to read, or you want me to continue. Okay, go ahead.
Alhamdulillah, mashallah. So let's continue. The most ugly and infamous things against Islam have been passed down and become famous. But apart from one or two stories about Musaylima the liar, no such thing has been related. The most ugly and infamous things against Islam have been passed down and become famous. But apart from one or two stories about Musaylima the liar, no such thing has been related. Musaylima was very eloquent, but when compared with the exposition of the Qur'an, which possesses infinite beauty, his words passed into the chronicles as nonsense. But Musaylima was very eloquent, but when compared with the exposition of the Quran, okay, which possesses infinite beauty, his words passed into the chronicles as nonsense. Thus, the miraculousness of the Quran's eloquence is as certain as twice 2 equals 4, and that is how it is.
All right, thank you for your help. Okay, so I see Brother Ali's hand up. Brother Ali, please go ahead.
Can I share the related verse in the Quran about?
Yes, we would love it.
Yeah. So it is ready. Inshallah. Okay. Let me see. Now, here, if there was some support, that is what the Quran itself says. وإن كنتم في ريب مما نزلنا على عبدنا فأتوا بسورة من مثله وادعوا شهداءكم من دون الله إن كنتم صادقين. Let's read maybe this one is easy. If you have doubts about the revelation, we have sent down to our servant, it means Abdina, the prophet, we can say our messenger, then produce a single surah like this. Enlist whatever supports you have other than God. But this enlist makes it a bit like this. And this is better. And call your helpers other than God, other than Allah. Wed'u, call your helpers other than Allah. If what you say is true, if you think that you can do it. So supporters mean call other people, get 100 eloquent people in Arabic language, very, very, very powerful literary people, 1,000 of them get together and produce one surah like the Quran's surah, section, one section. That is the challenge. It has been 1,400 years standing out there. There is no such thing. If it was, the text says, if it was, it would be famous. Look, these people challenged the Quran, wrote another book, much better than the Quran, explains the reality, truth as the Quran does, but in a better way. There is no such thing happened in the world.
Alhamdulillah, thank you, Brother Ali, for sharing that. So this Musaylima historical figure was an example used at that time. I think he was a poet as well, very eloquent. But then whatever he stated could not challenge the message of the Quran. So he was, I think the Prophet named him the liar from historically when I looked at it. So this title was given to him.
The people narrate his writings as a challenge against Quran, just to make fun of him, laugh at him. Compared to the Quran, it is nothing but a laughing stock.
Yep, thank you for the reference. Yes. Okay, so we'll go to the second aspect, unless anybody has any other comment on this. Like, yeah, so many people where they should have found fame, but there's nothing so far in this world to challenge. And that's the verse that Brother Ali shared. I think that's this verse, right? The produces surah resembling it. Yep. Baqarah 23. All right, we'll go into the second aspect. Maria, do you want to continue or should I read? Okay, I can read it. Okay, thank you. The second aspect. We shall now explain in 5 points the wisdom of the Qur'an's miraculousness contained in its eloquence. So it's going to focus on the miraculousness in the eloquence, the way it expresses how the Quran talks about it.
Excuse me,
I'll highlight this.
Asif,
Well,
excuse me, before going
the
into
first point.
excuse me, Asif.
There is a wonderful eloquence and purity of style in the Quran's word order.
Asif, do you hear me?
So that's the first point, the way the words are arranged and ordered.
Asif, do you hear me?
Okay, now I hear you. Yes, go ahead.
No, sorry. Before going in, I think that is why it was difficult to understand the text. Can you go back to the verse here? Now, if you are doubt about what we have revealed to our servant, then produce a surah resembling it is missing the translation of the original. Let me share it again. So that is why it became difficult to understand why the people, the protesting and calling others to support each other.
Interesting. Yes, you're right.
This part is missing. And call your helpers other than Allah, God.
Got it. Yes.
Now, this is missing. That is why you don't, the text says, call others to support each other.
Right. Yeah, that's why I was wondering, because this part, if that had been listed, yes, then that would have made sense.
This part is Arabic. وَدْعُوا شُهَدَاءَكُم مِّن دُونِ اللَّهِ. Is missing in the translation, because I was wondering why it is difficult. And then the verse is missing. What? That's it.
Good point. Thank you so much. Yeah, I will add it later on. Okay. So that's why it's saying that no one, so the question, if you say, and that no one's help for anyone else was of no avail, so it's coming from that part of the verse that was missing in the translation. All right. Okay, let's go into the second aspect, which is the miraculousness contained in the Quran's eloquence. And the first point is there is a wonderful eloquence and purity of style in the Quran's word order, the way the words are arranged and organized. And I think we'll get some examples from the verses. From beginning to end, Isharat al-Ijaz, signs of miraculousness, which is one of the works of this author, demonstrates this eloquence and conciseness in the word order. So he kind of speaks about this eloquence and conciseness in the word order in his other book, Isharat al-Ijaz, Signs of Miraculousness. The way the second, minute, and hour hands of a clock each complete the order of the others, so it goes through a particular order, the hour, the minutes, and the hours, the seconds. That is the way all the sentences of the all-wise Quran and its words and the order in that relationships between the sentences and words have been expounded in Isharat al-Ijaz from its first page to its last. Whoever wishes may look at that and see this wonderful eloquence in the word order. Of course, the word order cannot happen randomly or haphazardly. It's a conscious being who has put in that word order in a particular way, which shows another level aspect of the eloquence of the way each word follows the other. So scholars have actually spent time and investigated many of those things as well. Here we shall mention one or two examples in order to demonstrate the word order in the parts of a sentence. For example, but if a breath, okay, before I go there, Brother Ali, please go ahead.
Now, we have to see the relationship or correlation between God's creation and God's language. They are supporting each other. Have we seen any composition in the creation at any level that there is no word order, if you like, word order in the creation? If you see how the elements of a cell is perfectly arranged so that they are infinitely dependent on each other and they support each other, that is how the creation is taking place. So all the parts of the cell is directly connected with each other, like the clock example the author gives here. So you cannot look at one hand of the clock, not digital one, now classical clock. So if second is moving, and then it means the hand showing the seconds, showing the minutes, showing the hours. They are all interrelated to each other. They are all interdependent to each other. And without which we cannot take one, for example, if I make a clock and put one hand there, and it doesn't represent the creation at all. There is no single one hand existing in the universe. So they are all interconnected with each other, starting from the minute micro word, atomic structure, to the whole universe, galaxies, and then the universe. They are all infinitely dependent on each other, perfectly harmoniously working. That is what the Quran has, this nature as well. All the verses of the Quran directly connected with each other. You cannot really separate one ayah and one word of the ayah and see that it has an independent existence here. No, it is directly related with the rest of the Quran. It is valid in two aspects. That is important. One is meaning, that the words and the sentences and the paragraphs of the Quran communicates with each other. But the second part is so amazing. Not only the meaning, but the word relationship, the order in the letters and words and the sentences are so much interlocked with each other. So someone may say, I know Arabic. For example, إذا جاء نصر الله. It is very simple Arabic. When God's help comes, I can say it, إذا جاء نصر الله. But I cannot say it, this sentence, within the context of my whole message. So much interlocked with each other, interrelated to each other, interdependent to each other. I cannot say it. So people cannot really challenge the Quran because they cannot keep the consistency as the Quran keeps the consistency within itself. None of the message contradicts to each other. None of the word order contradicts or is spoiled. There is no way that the scholars who have been, as you said, Asam, for centuries and centuries, volumes of books, they have produced and studied, of course. At the end, they produced their conclusions. Not to have said that this word is not related to the word next to each other, or this word is redundant in the sentence, or this verse is redundant in the context of the paragraph. None of them could say this, but they worked on it, how they are really, really infinitely interrelated with each other. That's why no one could ever try to challenge the Quran. But I heard this story. I think in England, if I'm not mistaken, in Manchester, I think so. Maybe wrong, maybe, but some city in the university, the students of Arabic students, but non-Muslim Arabic students, they usually study the Arabic, the eloquent Arabic, by using the Quranic verses, examples of the Quran. So they say, they came together, for 5 of them together. Let's imitate the Quran and write like this one. So it's so ridiculous. Of course, no one took it seriously. So they wrote, for example, taking a chapter of the Quran, section of the Quran, and saying something, imitating the Quran, but doesn't really the Arab experts know that it is not really interrelated and interconnected with each other. Just a normal, like I said, the example, when God's help comes to you, like this. If I say that when God's help comes to you, you see, I'm challenging the Quran. It looks ridiculous, of course, in the context. That's why word order is important. And also we see in the creation, the interrelationship within the parts of the creation is important. How perfectly they are arranged. The same source is speaking in the Quran, and we see the same quality in his speech. Alhamdulillah.
Thank you, Alhamdulillah. So interrelation of the verses and also the things in the universe and the connected stages that the things happen, the order of creation that happens as well in the same way. And I think last time you also gave the example of the challenge in terms of the message of the Quran, where if one verse says something and another verse may seem to be contradicting, but it's not contradicting, right? If I remember, because if one has to carefully look at the meaning in terms of what it is saying. So all these verses, the word orders are very specific and relate to the same, they fit along into the same message.
We can add to this human feelings interconnected with each other. So we know that we have this feeling, that feeling, but they are perfect, the harmonies they're working with, and human beings don't get confused really. Which sense is going to be followed? We know that while we are doing any action, we know that while we are using our power, we use our wisdom, we use our knowledge, we use our feelings and the taste, human feeling, the taste of human feelings, and accordingly we act. So human feelings also have this interconnectedness as well. Anything created by God is perfect, the harmony is the working.
Subhanallah. Okay, so let's look at the example in the Quran. But if a breath of your sustainer''s punishment touches them, which is a verse from section 21, verse 46. A breath of your sustainer''s punishment touches them. Let me see if I can bring this up. Quran 21:46. 46. Al-Anbiya. Which is nafhatun min adhabi rabbika layaqulunna ya waylana inna kunna zalimin. They were touched by even a breath of your Lord's torment, they will certainly cry, woe to us, we have really been wrongdoers. Inna kunna zalimin. So this is an example. Let's see what the author shares from that example. Where was I? Oh, wrong place. There we go. But if a breath of your sustainer''s punishment touches them. In this sentence, it wants to point out the punishment. So the verse points out this punishment as terrible, though showing the severity of the least amount, because it's a breath. So it kind of hints at it's a very light. That is to say, it expresses littleness or fewness, and all the parts of the sentence look also to the littleness or fewness and reinforce it. Thus the words, but if signified doubt, but if signified doubt, and doubt looks to littleness or fewness. Thus the words, but if. This but, I think, should be in this thing. But if, thus the words, but if, signify doubt. And doubt looks to littleness or fewness. So it's saying, okay, but if. The word touches, so again, I think this should be, it doesn't follow this sentence. The word touches means to touch slightly and expresses a small amount. So touches. Just doesn't really have an impact, but just touches slightly. So it gives like a small amount. And just as the word a breath is merely a whiff is merely a whiff, so is it in the singular form. So it is in a singular form. So basically this word, masathu, wala im masathu, just translated.
Nefhatun.
Oh, nafatu. Okay.
Just a small, yeah, nefha, breath. Like a wind, warning wind comes. It's not called wind, actually. How do you say it? Very light wind. How do you say it in English?
Subtle?
Yeah, breath of your Lord's, not torment. No, torment is wrong. Torment is saying that nafadun azab. Azab is not torment. Azab is breeze. Thank you, Feria. A breeze of chastisement. It is azab. It's not normal. Maybe punishment, but torment is it's another word. Punishment down there in you are sharing punishment. Yeah, that is much better. Adab, the word adab comes from it's the root word, which means also something tasty. But of course, it is a great deal in Arabic. Understand root word. One of them is with waw, the other one is with ya. This is a long story. Sorry.
Oh, interesting. Thank you. Yeah. All right. So let's continue.
Azab is not fire, for example.
Okay.
Not hell, for example. Azab, for example, Elim, Azim. No, it's not min azab. Min means a little bit of. Even a breath of your Lord's, your Lord, punishment of your Lord. Just a bit, not all of them. No, just a bit. Yeah.
Okay.
Messe, you know messe?
Yep. Touching.
Not just a slight touching on the surface, not heating. So all the words support each other, the purpose of the message. Just a little bit of breeze of your Rabb. We will study this. Your Lord, the nourisher, the cherisher, your Lord, your protector. Protector's punishment, chastisement. That just touches you a little bit on the surface. No?
Yeah. A breath is merely a whiff, touches, so it is in the singular form. Grammatically, it is a masdar marra and signifies once. So the Arabic, the way it is, a whiff, so it signifies once, one, right?
Yeah, مرت نفحة once, just once.
Interesting. Also the tanween, indicating indefiniteness in a breath, expresses littleness or fewness and means it is so insignificant that it can scarcely be known. So nafhatun, this is the tanween, the tun part. So that expresses indicating indefiniteness in a breath, expresses littleness or fewness, and means it is so insignificant that it can scarcely be known. The word off signifies division or apart. It means a bit and indicates paucity. The word punishment.
What is paucity? Do you know that?
Paucity, something light, indicates. Let me check. Yeah, that's.
I have looked at the dictionary and it says smallness of quantity, just a little bit of quantity.
Right.
No, like
Scared,
small,
curious.
insufficient quantities. No, you are sharing it. Interesting. The presence of something only in a small or insufficient quality. Yeah, very scarcely, just a little bit. Yeah,
Little.
yeah.
The word punishment, azab, points to a light sort of punishment in relation to chastisement, is nakal, or penalty, iqab, and suggests a small amount. And by alluding to compassion and being used in place of subduer, all compelling or avenger, the word sustainer indicates littleness or fewness. It says, if the small amount of punishment suggested in all this paucity has such an effect, you can compare how dreadful divine chastisement would be.
Yeah.
Hmm. So it gives me the criteria to compare the lightness with the heaviness, dreadful divine punishment, chastisement. So in the words, the way it's used, the breath of touching, like a breeze touching, it shows the smallness, the lightness, I would say, compared to the divine chastisement, which is another extreme. How much then do the small parts of this sentence look to one another and assist one another?
So can you please, if it is possible, can you please read the whole verse and the translation of it? Because only half of the verse is quoted here.
Okay, inshallah.
You
Bismillah.
will see, you will see just a little bit is touching, just touching you, just a little bit of it, your compassionate uh, Lord, it means takes care of your life. So, Rab means the one who takes care of you. So his chastisement just touches you. If it touches you, a little bit of it, what will happen in the end? Ya veylena inna kunna zalimin.
I would realize that what have I been doing? How can I be in the
So,
wrong?
so we have really been wrongdoers. No, 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 no. We don't want it. We did something very bad. But how about the whole fire? No, 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 no. Just the taste of it
Very interesting. Just
make
by the taste of it, we realize it's a little
yeah.
warning kind of touching that comes to us. We can realize, well, what am I doing? What is going on?
So
Really
makes
been
you feel
wrongdoers.
that, yeah, makes you feel that how great your crime was. Just a little bit.
So this is the miracle of how the words are used. And interesting, yeah. This is another art in terms of, or science to look into how the word order is.
There are maybe hundreds of work on it, volumes of them. Studying, they are wondered. Most of the people were really in love with this word order studies of the Quran. Even Nursi himself tried.
That's what I think he's sharing, that there's an avenue there as well to explore. And he kind of tried it in his book, the Sharat al-Ijaz as well. So look at so how much then do the small parts of this sentence look to one another and assist one another? how each reinforces the aim of the whole. So each word, each phrase reinforces the aim, the message of the whole thing. This example looks to the words and aim to a small degree. So this was one example that we kind of looked into on how just by touching the breath of your Lord's torment has such a big impact on me to understand that I am among the wrongdoers. And then there's a second example. And spend in God's way out of what we have bestowed on them as sustenance, which is section Baqarah, verse 3. I can bring that up as well. Baqarah 3. الذين يؤمنون بالغيب ويقيمون الصلاة ومما رزقناهم ينفقون. Those who believe in the al-ghaib, unseen, translated, establish prayer and spend out of what we have provided for them.
Only the last part is studied here. وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ يُنْفِقُونَ.
What we have provided for them.
Yeah.
And spend in God's way out of what we have bestowed on them as sustenance. And now he's going to break down this part of the phrase as well. The parts of the sentence point out 5 of the conditions which make almsgiving acceptable. So how do we make almsgiving acceptable? First condition, that is to give only so much alms, charity, or as will not cause the giver to be in need of receiving alms himself. Right, so give enough that there's also enough for you as well, that you don't have to beg somebody else by giving everything. It states this condition through the division or parts signified by out of in the words out of what? Out of in the words out of what?
What dot. I mean, it is not a question. Out of what?
Oh yeah, it continues. What we have bestowed on them.
Yeah, exactly. Dot, yeah.
So that's the first condition. And the second condition, it is not to take from Ali and give to Wali. So,
Make it English. Make it English.
not taking from.
I don't know. Use a name, John to Jane or something like
Yeah,
that.
it's not taking from John and giving it to Mike.
Yeah. In English, in Turkish, it makes sense, but in English, it doesn't make sense. I don't know why he.
Ali to Wali. Yeah. Yeah, so take from one person and give it to the other person because it was from this person, but it was not even yours. It was John's to begin with, and you just gave it to Mike. But to give out of one's own property. So one has to give it from one's own property, what they have, what is given to them. The words we have bestowed on them as sustenance. So this is the, we have bestowed on them as sustenance. Expresses this condition. It means give out of the sustenance that is yours. So that has been given to you, not from somebody else's sustenance. So taking the credit from somebody else's thing or taking the action on the part of somebody else. No. But what has been given to you out of the sustenance given to you. Third condition, this is not to place an obligation on the recipient. The word we, and we have bestowed, right? So the royal we, they call it as well. We have bestowed, pointing to all the qualities of the Lord of the universe. We have bestowed on them a sustenance, states this condition. That is to say, I give you sustenance. So the Lord of the universe is saying, I give you sustenance. When you give some of my property to one of my servants, you cannot place them under an obligation that I gave this to you, so you owe me something. You need to do this for me because I gave something to you, or it is me who is my property, or take ownership of it. No, it is from the property. Who is the real owner? Realizing that. So recognize the we who has bestowed the sustenance. Whenever you're giving anything to anyone, even when I'm cooking food or anything, so it's sustenance given to me by him. It's not the store or anyone that brought it, or the farmer, or whoever gave it existence. Fourth condition, you should give it to a person who will spend it on his livelihood. I think it's interesting. Who will spend it on his livelihood, will use it, not just waste it. Or for alms given to those who will squander it idly is not acceptable. So whoever is wasteful, or the word spend points to this condition. So it has to be used. Oops, what did I do? Up here, spend. Points to this condition. So
can you share the Arabic original? You see the difference between the words. Now, ينفقون. Now, so that you will give to somebody who is going to use for his or her nafaka. Yunfiqun means this. Nafaka. Nafaka means essential needs, not luxurious needs, not for cigarette or Coca-Cola. Essential needs. So you have to give the almsgiving or zakat or sadaqah to those people who are not going to waste it
wasted, yeah.
or used unnecessary thing or on unnecessary things for them.
So yunfikuna is very important to spend, to be used.
So I see people asking for help and smoking.
Yeah.
Or in their hand, well, I see them some sort of soda or coffee. I have never bought coffee in my life, but they are asking me to pay money for their coffee. I mean, those people in the street, of course. Some of them, not all, of course, but we have to be careful. While we are giving, we make sure that this person is going to use it for his essential needs. That's what Qur'an is referring to it.
Okay, I see a comment or question for the second condition, which we kind of discussed, John and Mike. So not taking John's property and recognizing that it is property given by the Lord of the universe. So that is the point to recognize. So for instance, can we go over the second? If John gives Mike $5, and then Mike sees a needy person who needs $5, Mike can give that 5 in the name of his creator, because the 5 is his now. Yeah, I mean, these are practical ways of doing it. Yeah, he can give it, definitely. But the point here is being made.
I think there is a confusion there. I think.
Okay, go ahead.
Now, I am taking from you, Asim, and giving it to Feriha, for example. No, the one who asks me to give some help, the charity, to Fariha is the one who gave me the already whatever the properties or money I have, the one who gave it to me. He's asking me to give it rather than I am taking from somebody and giving it to the needy one. No, the one who says give the money to let's say Mike, he is the one who gave the money to me. Did I make it clear?
Not really.
Now, if I take money from you and God asks me to give it to Fariha,
Okay.
he says, no. وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ, from the one we have given it to you. It means God says, I gave you the food or the money, and I am asking you to give 2.5% of it to Fariha, for example, or to somebody else. The owner of the money, owner of the property is asking me to give some of it to the needy ones. So you have to give it from
Right.
your own property, or your own property, which is given to you by your creator, who is asking me to give it to somebody else, to give some of it to somebody else. Not clear?
So the owner is asking me to give, basically.
The one who gave it to me.
The one who gave it to me, gave me the feeling or the sense, or yeah.
Asking me, you give some of it to some of what I have given to you to a needy one. That's why in the following says, so give, you read the third condition now, the last sentence. When you
You
give,
give some of my property to one of my servants, you cannot place them under an obligation.
yeah. So this is my property. I have given it to you, and you have to give it to, again, a person I created needy. So share it with him, with this person, and don't put this person that you have given the money under obligation, because property is mine, needy person is mine, and I am asking you to give from my property to the needy one I created. So you cannot say that I am giving you some money so that put this person under some sort of obligation. So come and work for me, for example. No, it is not your property. It is the one who gave it to you. So the person who is needy will receive the money from you, not in fact from you, via you, through you, but from the one who created him needy. Did it make sense now?
Yes, to me it makes sense. Alhamdulillah.
Explain it again, because it's an interesting way of saying in the Quran. وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ يُنْفِقُونَ. If you know Arabic, if you knew Arabic, you would say, that is exactly very, very excellent.
Yeah, I think the point is about like you said, the وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ يُنْفِقُونَ. We have provided. It's not your property, it's my property.
Yeah. And the needy one also I created.
The need is given, yes.
Yeah. I have given you, let's say I have a tree in front of my house. This tree has 40 fruit on it. Make it very simple. Now, the tree is created by God, not by me. So, and God created another person who has no tree in his garden. God did not create any tree in the garden of Mike, right?
Correct. In the example, yes.
God says, Ali, give one, let's say this is orange tree. Now, Ali, give one of the oranges that I gave you, 40 of them, but give one of them to Mike, which I have not given him, I have not created tree for him. Now, because I have not created tree for Mike, it is my responsibility to take care of the need of Mike. God is speaking. And God says, look, Ali, I am giving you the orange through creating the tree, right? Understand it. I am giving you the orange through creating the tree. I am giving the orange to Mike through employing you to transfer it from you, from the tree I gave you to him. Both of them I am giving. I am the one who is the giver to you, Ali, and I am the one who is giving to Mike as well. So, Ali, be careful. Don't say to Mike that, look, I gave you orange. So, don't be bossy on Mike. I am the Lord of both of you. But one of you I gave you through creating the tree. The other one I gave him through employing you to transfer the orange to him, which I have given to you. Now is it clear?
Yes, Alhamdulillah. Thank you.
It is not complicated at all. It's so simple. But
Right.
to understand it, we think that we are helping people. And also we think that some people are unlucky.
Right. So I just become the means, or the tree becomes the means as well but of the owner, Lord of the universe. So it's not really, I can't take ownership or claim that I'm giving. It's not mine to begin with.
Through this transaction series, if you like, process of transactions, God is teaching us that, look, you have to understand that I have created some of you rich, some of you poor, but by creating you some of you rich, I am not favoring. By creating some of you poor, I am not also really disregarding their human needs. I am taking care of everything, and I am arranging your relationship with such a way that you are going to express. It's speaking to me, Ali. When you are giving the orange to Mike, know that this is the practice of you are not the owner of your tree. So I have to practice zakat, giving charity, in the way that I am practicing it will be an opportunity for me to practice that whatever is given to me is God's favor, not my property. It is just a favor. If I give to zakat, to the poor one, as zakat in the name of God, I will be practicing my belief that the tree is created by God, not by me. I am not the owner of the tree. God is the real owner of the tree. Not, but this civilization calls it real estate. It means my real estate. No, it's not your real estate. It is God's real estate. You are just a tenant in it. He favored you. That is what I am experiencing, the reality in creation. How about the Mike's position now in the example? Mike, while Mike is receiving the orange through me, he is experiencing the same thing as I am experiencing that through the tree, I am getting the favor from God, right?
Right.
Mike also is experiencing, I am getting the favor from God, but not from the tree, but from zakat transaction. Understood?
Yes, Alhamdulillah.
Both of us are being trained, educated here at the same time. The giver is experiencing the reality, the receiver is experiencing the reality that the owner of the property is only the one who created the universe. Beautiful way of saying it in a very simple phrase.
You're right. In the civilization, it's very hard to turn those feelings towards the real owner, the creator, when we're interacting with people. So we need that training, Alhamdulillah. Yeah. To, I mean, now I understand what it means, like to the feelings that you have, how to turn them towards. So realizing, seeing that is not my property, but needs practice, more and more practice, inshallah. Okay, so let me read the fifth condition to wrap it up. This is to give in God's name. The words we bestow on them as sustenance states this. The words in the verse we bestow on them as sustenance. So this phrase states this. That is to say, the property is mine, you should give it in my name. I think that summarizes as well. Okay, I know we are at time. So let me just see. I think we can read one more paragraph. These conditions may be extended. That is, the form almsgiving should take with what goods? It may be given as learning and knowledge as well. So whatever we're doing in this discussion, sharing our experiences, our knowledge, our thoughts, our understandings, so, or whatever, maybe somebody may be in a profession, what they're doing, maybe they're even maybe a teacher or doctors, whatever. So it may be given as words or as acts or as advice. The word what is out of what indicates these various sorts through its generality. So the out of what, so it's not just limited to wealth or money, or but out of it includes many other, all sorts of blessings that we are given.
I don't know whether we have time, but shall I give a very brief, but share the original ayah verse?
Please go ahead.
No, but share it on the screen.
Yes, please go ahead.
But no, you share it.
Oh, you're asking me. Okay, yeah, okay.
I can do it. Look, here, this one from what? No, let me share myself. Just a minute.
Okay.
If I have, if I no, I don't have it. So let me go back. Very simple. It's very easy to find. It is just Baqarah second.
Right. Third
Okay. This one. Now, this one. You see now?
Yes, we see it.
Now, how delicately the words, the letters are connected to each other. Now, here this what is means this ma, this one. This one. Do you see it? Ma.
Yes.
Now, ma means what? Min from ma what? But there is another which is called I don't know sila words in Arabic. Sila they are called sila. Yeah, connection words which is الذي من الذي رزقناهم could have been used here. Grammatically would be correct. But الذي is used for specific things. Ma is used unspecified things.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, very everything is so
It cha-
delicately.
changes everything. Yeah, unspecified, not exactly what it is, but
No,
yeah, go ahead.
with no limit, no limit. Every kind of things could have been. If it was الذي, which would mean the same thing, which would be translated in the same word from what? But of course, we miss the delicate meaning in it. It is so exciting.
Subhanallah. How would I find this? Amimma, inshallah. So allazi, you said the connecting words. We will pay attention to that, inshallah.
Yeah.
And then,
Min الذي min ma.
and
The
mimma is unspecified.
ma is يعني, how do you say, welded with each other. Min ma, it means from what?
Hmm.
Now, out of what? It is translated as out of what? Yeah, but without limit, without specification.
I see. MashaAllah.
It means in this context like this. In another context, it may have slightly different references. So, I mean, it needs Arabic knowledge.
Inshallah. Yeah, so what is out of indicates these various source through its generality. I see that's what he means. Furthermore, indicates this with the sentence itself because it is absolute and expresses generality. Thus, with the 5 conditions in this short sentence describing almsgiving, it opens up a broad field before the mind. So although the example is used with almsgiving, it could be anything. Broad field before the mind, granting it to it through the sentence as a whole. Thus, in the sentence as a whole, the word order has many aspects. So this was the word order in terms of the eloquence of the Quran. So I guess we are at time, so I will continue with some other examples of the word order. But the 2 examples were very beneficial, alhamdulillah. These 2 examples from the verses about the breadth of the sustainers punishment, touching how likeness and giving out of God's way, God who has bestowed on them sustenance, paying attention to the grammar as well as the word order, how consciously each word is painting a different kind of meaning that I need to pay attention to, inshallah. That's why I think that earlier he spoke about the huruful muqattat, the cryptic letters, like alif lam mim, ha mim, yasin, noon. So all those also asked to pay attention to each and every letter, every word in the Quran. So inshallah, I'll stop here. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma alamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين بحرمة سورة الفاتحة. Thank you everyone. Salam.